of you to the last ECEI grant reporting webinar. So let's get started. So as you guys were aware, as part of receiving the ECEI grant reporting, which you had to say that you were able to reopen your childcare by August 31st of 2020. You have demonstrated significant financial loss due to COVID. You must not use any of these grants of the ECEI to reimburse for expenses that have already been covered by either the federal or state government. And last but not least, that the grant funds cannot be used for to reimburse for wages that an employee was entitled to receive unemployment insurance benefits. So the first report you guys already submitted, which was due December 31st, 2020, and the next one, it is due next week, March 31st, 2021. I highly recommend that you guys do not wait until the 31st to submit this report, due to the fact that sometimes there are things lagging in the system, or if you have any questions, sometimes it does take us a little bit of time to get a hold of you guys. So just allow enough time for yourself. So as part of just the questionnaire, it is the same as the one that you submitted for the first grant reporting, which is going to ask you which grant did you receive, if your program is for 0 to 5 years old, or if your program is for school-age children. You're going to list if it is the case that you're a family childcare provider or a childcare center. You are going to list, once again, basic business information, which is your name, the phone number, and the address. And then you're going to list the business representative or point of contact. This is very important because this is who the county is going to reach out in case they need additional documentation or information. So you're going to put the name of the point of contact, the address, the phone number, and an email. You want to make sure that this is somebody who's checking their voicemail, who has a voicemail set up, who is also checking their emails just in case any communication comes from the county. You will need to enter the number of full-time employees and part-time employees based on the current number. It's not what you had. It is based on what you have at this point. Also, I do know some of the family childcare providers do have contractors, not necessarily employees. So you definitely want to list in here if you have, those teacher aid assistants under as a contractor into one of these two roles. In addition, you need to include your central vendor registration system ID. That is something that you sign up prior to receiving this grant. And at this point, you should already have received the 1099 for the funds that you receive from the county, as this is the funds that you receive are taxable and have to be reported in your taxes. So the general guideline, it is that you're going to be providing an income and expense report. This is just a general guidance and recommendation as to how you can divide your income based on the infants and toddler, the preschool, and if you have any school-age children, if you have any before and after care program, any subsidy or scholarship or if it's the case that your family childcare or center receives the PPP loan, EIDL, Montgomery County Lottery, or any other loan or grant. And like I said, this is just a sample. This sample, it is available in Nonprofits Montgomery website as a spreadsheet, as a resource to you. You do not have to use this specific template. The biggest thing that the county wants to capture is the expenses of your center or family childcare, and how did you use the funds that you receive. So when we are talking about the expense reporting, they are going to ask you for the total amount of facilities, payroll and benefits, programmatic, administrative, PPE equipment, and other. this is once again just a quick sample as the different subcategories that you can include through the facilities. So in facilities, you can include your mortgage or rent. If you're a family childcare provider, you can include 30% of your rent or mortgage and or utilities of your family childcare if you're running this inside your home. You can include property taxes, maintenance, repairs, the utilities, the internet service, and any phone, security, or alarm system. The next calculation that you need to do, it is payroll. And here you're going to include the salaries, payroll taxes, medical insurance, workers' compensation, life insurance. Bonus is one of those things that are not to be included as part of the use of the ECEI grant fund, so yes, be aware of that. And if it's the case that you did receive the PPP, you want to make sure that you're not saying that you use the PPP for payroll for the same period that you were using the ECEI grant funds. Last but not least, we also have programmatic, which is all the expenses that are related to running your program. This includes non-capital equipment, which is any equipment between, $1,000 to $5,000, furniture, toys, rugs. If it is a case that you might outsource either an art program or a dance program for your childcare center, that is something that you can definitely include in here. Any crayons, paint supplies, paper for the children activity, as well as any food that your childcare facility might provide to the children. Then we have administrative. In here, we can include the professional development, license renewal, any accreditation fees that you might have to pay, as well as technology. Let's say you had to purchase Zoom or any other sort of platform to maybe have your students check in and check out on a daily basis, or if you were doing some sort of checkup on their temperatures and you wanted to keep an online log. If you have office supplies, business insurance, the general liability is something that you can include, as well as professional fees if it is the case that you might have hired an accountant and bookkeeper to help you start, putting your financial data together to help you respond to this grant. We also have the PPE equipment, which is the personal protective equipment. Here you will include all the expenses that are related to gloves, masks, cleaning supplies, thermometers, shoe covers, plexiglass shield. Maybe it is the case that you end up hiring cleaning team to come and disinfect, on a weekly basis and do more of a deep cleaning to your facilities. This is something that you can also include and use the ECEI grant funds for. And we also have other. This is just so that you can include some other expenses that might have not been covered by the previous categories. And in this case, I'm just citing an example. It could have been advertising. I want to advertise in like Facebook AdWords or Google Business and things like that that I need to pay. Or maybe there is a way that maybe you use some of the funds to get your website done. That is something that you can also include in their other expenses. So this is just a quick summary of the income and expense report. As I said, I just kind of color coded as to what are the actual expenses and then what is the source of, funds where I'm paying these expenses from. So part of it, you guys can see that I'm paying out of the parents' tuition. Part of it, I'm using the ECEI grant funds to pay for, and part of it was paid at some point from the PPP loan that I received. Again, this specific template, it is on our website, on Nonprofit Montgomery's website, and the slides of this presentation will also be posted on Nonprofits Montgomery website for your reference. The next part is we will start going over, the children and the enrollment. So the county wants to know what is the total number of children that you're serving from 0 to 5 years old, how many of those children are Montgomery County residents, as well as how many of those children have special needs. And that is based on actual enrollment. That's not based on what your license or what is your capacity. The next part is the county wants to know if your facility is located in one of the targeted zip codes. If you are in 20877, 20886, 20902, or 20866, or 20906, if your childcare facility or your family childcare is located in one of those zip codes, then you are going to allocate the current number of children that you have under those specific zip codes. If your childcare is not located in those zip codes, then you just simply need to enter 0. The county also wants to know if you are part of any subsidized program. You will need to fill out as to how many children 0 to 2 years old and how many children that are 2 to 5 receive some sort of a state subsidy or are part of the WPA program. You are going to enter the number of children separately. And if it is the case that your child care center is not part of this program, then you can simply leave the response in blank. The county also wants to know the number of children served who are Montgomery County residents, but now they want to know it by age group. So how many children that are infants and toddlers, which is at 0 to 2 year old. And then they also want to know the number of children that are served as preschool, which is the 2 to 5 years old. That information, once again, is based on current enrollment. And if it is the case that your childcare doesn't have any children in any of those groups or doesn't have any enrollment at all, then you just simply leave it as blank. As far as the document requires, as you guys are aware, these are the exact same requirement of documents. So you need to submit an expense report along with your receipt. You need to submit a copy of your Maryland child care license. And then if your child care facility center it is part of the Excel program, then you need to include your Excel certificate. If it is the case that your program is not, then you don't need to worry about that. The formatting that the county is accepting the documents is JPEG, which is an image. It's a PDF, which is more of a document. Word or Excel, which are Microsoft Office applications. As far as the receipts, as I have mentioned to you guys previously, we want to make sure that you collect all of the receipts and do one big scan, because the uploading system that the county has set up is not going to let you upload receipt by receipt, but instead they want to see all of the receipts kind of like together. This is how the uploading page looks like. As you guys can see on the left side of your page, you guys can upload documents directly from your computer, from Box, Dropbox, your Gmail account, or Google Drive. On the right side of your screen, you guys can see how I have already uploaded a document. And then you guys can kind of see like the preview, the formatting, and then it is a key that you guys press the button that says upload, which is on blue on your bottom right. Because if you guys don't click that, then the document is not going to be uploaded into the county's server for them to review your application. So if you guys have uploaded the document correctly, then you guys will see a list of documents. You guys can see that in their the expense report and receipts, I have one. And this is how it should look if your document was uploaded correctly. And last but not least, on the last part of the application, it is going to ask you one more time for the first name, the last name, the email, for them to reach out to you. And then they want you to draw or type an electronic signature. By you completing and signing that page, you are agreeing that the information that you are providing is correct. is true and it's complete, and that the fact that the county might contact you in case by phone or email in case they have any questions. So just a couple quick reminders. The report is due by March 31st of 2021. The county has already emailed the link to the application. So if you guys haven't received it, let us know. We can definitely put it in the chat. You are not able to save the application, so you have to go in with all of the information already available. Anything with the red asterisk has to be filled out. I always recommend that you guys take a screenshot of each page just for your record, or in case there is a technical problem. This presentation will be posted in Nonprofits Montgomery's website for your reference, along with an FAQ document, which you guys already have access to. And do not wait until the last minute. It is best for you guys to submit this 24 hours ahead of time. And as Franca mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, we are here to provide free technical assistance. It is available in English and Spanish, and I am the person that will be reaching out to you. You can send us an email, or you can contact us and leave a voicemail, and then we will get back to you. You guys can see the website where all the information and the previous webinars and the Excel template, it is available for yourself. And if it is the case that you are a family childcare provider, you can also contact the Women Business Center, Mrs. Marta Jimenez, and she will be able to provide you guys technical assistance in regards to also the ECEI reporting webinar. So that ends the presentation for today. So if you guys want to start putting your questions in the chat, I will be more than happy to start answering some of those questions. Also, I do know, I know some of you might have already used all of the funds by the first reporting that was due December 31st. So if it is the case that you use all the funds and you submitted the report with all of the receipts, then you, the county has provided the information to us that you no longer have to submit the second report as long as all of the receipts were included and you demonstrated that you use all of the ECEI grant funds. So we have posted, Mindy just posted the link to the direct form if one of you haven't received it, so that you guys can start filling it out. Do you guys have any questions? You guys can put it in the chat, or you guys can use the raise hand feature. And if I don't hear from anyone, then I will let people ask their questions live. Okay, so Geeta, I see that you raised your hands. Can you go ahead and ask your question?
Okay, I'm talking regarding my wife. I'm not Geeta, but however, she's here. I put in a chat too. The question is, we submitted a first report with all expenses. The one section I'm confused on is that the other options you guys have for the other expense that we put it in the report. Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem to show up on my, the report forms. So how do you determine what is my balance are? Would that show on when we submit the second report?
No, that's something that you need to keep record as to how much did you use out of the ECEI grant funds that you received. So you needed to, whatever amount you got, when you submitted the first report, then you needed to account for what was left out of how much you used and then what is left out of those funds. And then the remaining is what then now would be due on the second
Yeah,
report.
that's what I'm saying. The remaining balance is what, even though after I put it in other section as in the expense, this report does not show, it only shows whatever the, the business facilities I spend, tax properties, programmatic equipment that's spent, administration fee, everything, except the reporting says other, which I put it in, does not show on this report. My only question is, I did spend money. I do have proof of receipts for other expenses. Do I need to resubmit that report again? I even reached out to, I forgot the lady name, Jennifer, I believe. I forgot her last name.
Mhm.
And I did not hear back. So I don't know at this point. Should I resubmit all my receipt again?
So
According
if
to this
you submitted, so here is the thing. Did you have any remaining funds available for you to use?
yes, I do.
Okay, so then you need to submit another report.
Okay, I can go ahead and add it again, I guess,
Is that
as second expense. That's the only question I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. And then, so I see Paradise Daycare has a question, and then I will answer the next one. So what is your question? You are muted.
I didn't do that.
No worries.
On the first report, I did not go through nonprofit Montgomery website for the pamphlet of the expense report in a Excel or any format you suggesting. Of course, this time I will do that. Last time I had some problem to download and print some of the information, but I did submit the form and the questionnaire plus the document. I upload as many as document they ask for. I hope it works.
Yeah, so generally speaking, the county will contact you in case they haven't received or they need additional documentation from you. My recommendation, so number one, in regards to the Excel spreadsheet, that is just a template in case you want to use it. I'm just trying to make it easier for you guys. The county just needs to receive an expense report out of the ECEI grant funds and how you use it to cover what expenses, along with the receipts. That is the big key component. And then in regards to the receipts, it makes it easier on their end for you to, what I have told people is grab, a piece of paper and tape your receipts, make a copy out of it, and then do one big scan, and then just send that big document to the county.
Oh, okay. And one more question. It's, I think I did submit the second grant not long ago, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And I could not retrieve any information was delivered properly, or
I did not get. Referring to the Maryland State Grant?
Yes.
Montgomery
County. There was the same thing, I guess,
Okay.
Something
there are two grants that were available for childcare. One is the one that you applied last year, that you submitted a report on December 31st, and then the next report is due by March 31st.
Okay.
The other grant that was available for childcare providers was on a state level. And then that application closed March 7, about 2 weeks ago. And then from there, they are going to take about 6 weeks to review applications and then notify people. The only way you can check if they receive your application is to go back to the MSDE website. And if you scroll down at the bottom, there is like check my application, and it's going to download an Excel spreadsheet. And then you need to look, or actually now it's a PDF, and then you need to search in that PDF your license number,
I see.
okay?
Okay. It's not a, the whole process is not friendly user for, at least for me, but let's see what I had. Well, in your document, you already says we cannot retrieve or go back for editing or sending additional information.
Mhm.
And also you mentioned for the second loan, second grant was available through state.
Mhm.
This is the stimulates the last one,
Mhm.
the most recent one.
Yeah.
But I have to go to the MSDE to check if they have received it or we lost our chance. But
Yeah.
anyhow,
The thing what you might want to do is, Mindy has put all of the contact information. You can
Mhm.
reach out to me to that phone number or email. I will contact you and then I can help you
okay,
for that.
all
It
right.
makes it easier for you.
I will call you and if I have
Do we have the
further
number?
question. Yes,
Yeah,
I
we
do.
just posted now in the chat again. That way you have.
Yeah. Can I have your number one more time?
Yes, it is 301
Uh-huh.
349
349
6373.
73. Miss Nadia.
Yes,
All right. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate
Good
it.
job. Was excellent.
All right, so I do have another question. Let's see. So Carmen asks, she said, I used all the grants at the beginning to do the fence outside and to finish the fence a month ago. I used to pay the final CPST amount. My question is to upload the last receipt for my payment. So Carmen, if you had funds available as of after the first report that you submitted on December 31st, then yes, you do need to submit another report, and yes, you need to include the payment that you make and the receipt for that payment that you make now to finish that work.
Okay, yeah, maybe I didn't explain carefully, but yeah, I use the part of like a 1,500 to the deposit for the fence, because in that time they were very busy. They didn't do my fence for 3 months, and then I paid the 1,500 in the beginning, and then when they finish, like in February, since or maybe January, I don't remember, I paid the last $3,000 or $4,000, something. I'm not remember, but do I have to upload again all the receipt, or just the last part?
You need to upload the receipts for the remaining funds that you had
Okay.
available. That's what you need to upload the receipts for.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Natalie has a question.
Hello. I was wondering just what website I go to log in my grant expenses. For some reason I did it once the first time, but now I can't find where to go for the second round.
Mindy just posted the link.
Oh, she did in the chat?
Yep, in the chat.
Let me just make sure I see it.
Yes.
Montgomery County Provider Grant Report, that one?
Yep.
Forms?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, and then do I have to know my number, my grant number? Like, what do I put in to make them know that it's me?
They are gonna know because of your childcare information.
Okay, so I don't have to remember like the number I got, the confirmation number for
No,
the
but you
first one.
definitely want to start taking pictures and print as much as you can for proof for yourself. That's all.
She wants to leave it.
Okay, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Bye, Lindsay. Sorry. So if I don't, because I didn't do an expense report, I just wrote in my expenses the first time. I wrote it in the forms.
Mhm.
I don't have to make an expense report the second time. I can just write it in again, like fill in the blanks, kind of.
Well, no, as part of the report is you have to fill out the actual form and then you need to include an expense report. That was part of their requirements.
The first one too was like that.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I don't know if I remember that, but if I didn't do it, they would have contacted me, correct?
Maybe if they weren't able to equal the amount that you reported against all of the receipts that you provided, they should have
Mhm.
contacted you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so Jody has the next question. Just to clarify, when we report the expenditures for the second report, are we only reported what was spent since the last report or the total? So the key component to this second report, it is, let's say you got $10,000 for the grant. By December, you used 5,000 and you reported those expenses and you included the receipt. So that means you have $5,000 left to use between January and March. You need to include all of the receipts from January and March that justifies the use of the $5,000 that you had left. If, let's say, that doesn't equal the $5,000, then the county is going to ask you to return any extra funds that you didn't use. So you want to make sure that the remaining balance that you had available to yourself out of the ECEI grant funds, that you have expenses that are allowable based on the ECEI grant terms, and then you need to submit the receipts for all of those expenses between January and March that justify the $5,000. So does anybody have any other questions? So I have one more question. It says, for the grant I use utilities and mortgage. So now the March 31st one is due. Do you have to upload the same thing because I still use it for mortgage and utilities? Yes, that is correct. You will need to upload a receipt for the mortgage and utilities that you pay between January and March 31st. And just keep in mind, you can only use 30% of the grant to pay, if you're a family childcare provider, to pay for the mortgage and utilities. If you are a childcare center, then you can deduct the rent or the mortgage and utilities at 100%. Okay, are there any other questions? Going once, going twice. Okay, I don't see anything else. So thank you guys for joining us. You